Guys, I'm pumped to tell you about our sponsor, Bond Charge. They're a holistic wellness brand with products built to optimize your life. If you're looking to improve your sleep like I am, perform better like I know you are, increase your energy, which everybody loves, recover faster with athletes need, or to reduce inflammation, which is just good health, these guys have got you covered. My favorite product is the infrared sauna blanket. Now, guys, you know as a wrestler and a fighter, I spent a lifetime in saunas, but this is much better. If you want to burn calories, you want to detoxify your body or ease stress, you're going to love this blanket too. This blanket works by raising your heart rate to that of physical exercise. So now you're burning calories while you relax. You can burn up to 600 calories in just one session. Guys, it takes less than 1 minute to set this up. It heats up fast and you can enjoy a 30-minute session while you're watching TV. It's been a great addition to my wellness routine. It's easy to clean, lightweight, easily stored, not to mention Bond Charge's sauna blanket has a low EMF and offers the highest temperatures compared to other brands. Bond Charge ships worldwide and is offering free shipping on every sauna blanket with easy returns and exchanges plus a 12-month warranty. You can try it out risk-free. Go to bondcharge.com/Chael. Use the coupon code Chael. That's going to save you 15%. Or guys, just click on the link below. So I woke up this morning at 4:30. Had to get the sleep out of my eyes. Get the warm coffee down my throat. Clear my voice a little bit. I was going on ESPN. And it was a split screen situation, right? You guys have seen this where there's a host. That's where I came in. One side of the screen, Khamzat Chimaev. Other side of the screen, Kamaru Usman. We're talking co-main event, UFC 294, #1 contenders match. And I asked a couple of things of Chimaev, and Chimaev was great. I mean, Chimaev is a lot of fun to be around, and Chimaev was there first. I'm having my coffee. He's sitting there in the hotel in Fight Island. We're having a little bit back and forth as we're waiting for Kamaru. But as soon as Kamaru popped on, there was a different Chimaev. The competitor came right in. I mean, you might as well flip the switch. And I asked Chimaev a couple of questions, though. Like, by example, I just said, hey, 170 pounds, is that out of the picture? And he wouldn't say yes. He said he's going to win the championship at middleweight. I said, okay, but no more 170, right? This champ stuff and going up to 205 and all this talk that we used to hear. And he was just very calm, said, Chael, brother, I am going to be champion at middleweight. And I said, okay, well, about that, Chimaev. So now Kamaru's here, right? We're doing the split screen. But I said that. I said, you know, about that. If you beat Usman and you become the #1 contender, said, you know, you're supposed to fight Paulo Costa. Paulo reveals to us that he had surgery on his elbow 3 weeks prior, cost him the fight, insert the former champion. But if you beat the former champion, Dana has announced that this is officially a #1 contenders match, and that is something that he did not announce when it was Paulo Costa. So was that part of your negotiation, right? Like, as much as Kamaru is getting credit for taking it on short notice, you're also taking a different opponent on short notice. Did you demand that it was #1 contender? He said, of course not. He was almost confused by the question, like genuinely. He said, of course, I demand nothing. And I said, Chimaev, give me a prediction. Are you going to beat Kamaru Usman? He said, I'm going to smash everybody. He said, I will smash everybody. I will maul him. And I said, well, let's look into how. One thing that you've always had an advantage of, again, I'm talking to Chimaev. Kamaru's right there listening to us, but I'm talking to Chimaev. So one thing that you've always had an advantage over people is with the conditioning. You've weaponized pace. You've been able to put more attacks and more shots up against the board than your opponents, but that's also what Usman's known for. Not to mention, Usman has only and exclusively fought for the last half a decade in 5-round fights. 3 rounds, this is very easy for him. Can you rely on that same conditioning? And moreover, can you rely on the same wrestling? You're now taking on a national wrestling champion. First time ever. And he laughed. And he said, of course, brother. To both things. Of course I can out-wrestle him. Of course I can out-condition him. I will smash him. And at some point in there, he slipped in, I will finish him. That's a very big claim. Beating Kamaru Usman is one thing. Finishing Kamaru Usman, particularly with what is most likely if there's going to be a finish, which is a submission. I don't think we've ever seen Kamaru submitted, have we? And we saw the head kick heard around the world, and there was some other fight. It was like Kamaru's first fight ever before he was even within the organization. I don't know anything about it. I don't know who the opponent was. But I can't even close my eyes and imagine Kamaru Usman being caught in some kind of a wrestling, grappling type maneuver and having to say uncle. It was a very interesting claim. I wanted to see this fight. I want to see this fight for years. I want to see it even more now. So now I go over to Kamaru Usman. I said, Kamaru, I followed your whole career. I even followed your wrestling career in college and on the international level. I don't know of a time that you've ever called somebody out. I don't know of a time that you've ever lobbied behind the scenes and or publicly for a fight, but you did with Chimaev. Why? What is it about him? And Kamaru was very complimentary. He said, man, I think Chimaev comes as advertised. I think he is the real deal. I think he's the future. I think he's explosive. I think he's fast. I think he wrestles well. I think he punches hard. I think he's great. I just think I can beat him. So I asked him a very similar question, having to do with if he gets a victory and becomes number one contender and draws into Sean Strickland. Many people don't know if Usman and Strickland fought, it would actually be a rematch. They fought before Strickland was Strickland and before Kamaru was Kamaru. They fought up an undercard at a UFC at 170 pounds, and Usman beat him. And it was a competitive fight. For sure, Usman won. He may have even won all 3 rounds. For sure he won, but it was hard. He worked really hard, and Sean's a lot bigger and a lot better and a lot more confident now. Interesting match. What do you think? And he said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking towards. And if I had a miss, and I asked Kamaru straight up, right in front of Chimaev, I said, Kamaru, are you going to win this fight on Saturday? Just like that. Are you going to beat this guy? And he laughed. But he said, yeah, he was going to become the number one contender. Both guys said, yes, I can beat this guy. And there's not very many fights that you have ever seen where both guys thought they were going to win. The best fights that you've ever seen are when both guys truly believe they're both going to win. But generally, you don't have fights that are lobbied for it and campaigned for, right? The guy lobbying and campaigning is proving that he thinks he can win. That's why he's working so hard to get it. I know you see 2 guys go out there, and I know you've been told your whole life about confidence, and you believe these guys are confident, and they got ice in their veins, and nothing rattles them. 0 of that is true. Every fight you see, both guys know, going to fight, who's going to win. Sometimes they get a big surprise, right? It's what dreams are made of. Sometimes one of them underperforms. But it is very interesting. And I do think, moreover than anything, that we really are going to have a number one contenders fight here. We get told that quite often going into a fight. And the second the fight is done, it will never be addressed again. It will never be talked about again. As though it was never stated in the first place. And a lot of times when it's stated, it's only for one guy, but that guy is a clear favorite. So then when that guy gets beat, we sweep it. And I just don't feel that's what's happening here. Short notice fight. There's a lot on that. There's an appreciation put on that. When the fight got announced, boom, within 24 hours, it got announced as number one contenders match. I think we all know that's the track Chimaev's on. I think we're now finding out that's the track that Usman's on. But if Usman has a win over Chimaev and he's already beaten Strickland, there's not really a way to deny him. There's not really a way to say you don't belong, you've only done this division once. And it wasn't even a championship round fight. Very tough to say when he's already defeated the champion. Plus, Usman's a veteran. I don't think he's going to let it slide. I think he's smart enough to hold them, to hold the words that are being said today, the narrative today, and make sure it stays alive in the post-fight interview, which is the mistake so many others don't do. They sandhag in their own career and they don't follow the sport. A lot on this. Chimaev says he's going to finish him. Kamaru said, I'm going to beat him. We'll find out on Saturday.